Welcome to part 7 part series.
Something's wrong.
I don't know why
There's an echo on you, Susan.
yeah. We are today looking at Picturesque Provence and the Regal Riviera. I'm Susan Lawrence, and here are your team members today.
I'm Peter Lawrence.
I'm Sandy Vellaconia, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about boutique escapes, which I know all of you already know about that are participating today. We are a family-run tour operator started in the year 2000. So we have 20 plus years behind our belt, started by Sharon Assis and myself, Sandy Vellaconia, and then Susan and Peter joined us. We sell only in packages, they're custom, and they're based on your client's dreams of Europe. And if they want us to suggest, we will put an itinerary together for them. We sell in packages of transfers, hotel, tours, train. Sometimes we'll put in an intercontinental flight, and we'll make restaurant reservations for your clients in Europe. Our philosophy of travel is it's all about location. Just like when your clients buy a house, we think they need to be in the best spot. After all, the city is the location. So what we look at is what's outside their door, something fabulous. The Eiffel Tower, the Left Bank, perhaps the National Gallery in Trafalgar Square in London, in Rome, Piazza Navona, and of course in Florence, the Ponte Vecchio or Piazza Signoria. No different for the South. We want your clients to be in the old town in these fantastic Provençal and Riviera cities. Now I'll turn it back to Susan.
Thank you, Sandy. Boutique Escape strives to sell your clients an experience. We want to help your clients engage emotionally and be excited about experiencing different cultures. Different, not better, not worse, just different. Provence is all about small villages, scenery, markets, food and wine, and having lived in a small town in France myself, I find the south of France to be quite different than what we would find in the small villages of Italy. Today, we're going to take you on a trip from Avignon to Aix-en-Provence while exploring some of France's most beautiful villages on the way. And we culminate one of our favorites, La Côte d'Azur, Nice and area. If you take a look at the map here, we've come from Paris to Avignon. We're going to take a look at Aix-en-Provence, meanwhile, taking a look at the little villages in between, and then heading over to Nice on the far right of your screen, where we will look at La Côte d'Azur. Now, I'll turn it over to Peter, who's going to start us off in Avignon.
Thank you, Susan. So last week we were in the north of France in Paris and Normandy. So we're going now due south of Paris to the banks of the Rhone River, about a 7-hour drive from Paris, but much more relaxing to take that a little less than 3-hour TGV ride, the French version of the bullet train. And here you are looking at a map of the historic center of Avignon. This is a city of about 100,000 people, but like many of the smaller to mid-sized cities of France and of Europe, it has a small walkable historic center full of shops, cafes, restaurants, museums, scenic squares, and historic monuments. And I will point out now the Papal Palace that we will have a look at. And you might have heard of it, the Pont d'Avignon, the Avignon Bridge or the Benezet Bridge. We'll have a look at that, two of the must-see historic sites of Avignon. It is one of the few cities to have preserved its medieval walls, and you can see here in the foreground a section of the medieval walls. They are actually 3 miles and they go completely around that historic center. Tourist shops full of typical products of the region. You'll see on the right little packages of lavender. Shops with colorful, these ones are marzipan sweets. Scenic squares connected by meandering lanes. And one of the must-see historic sites, this picture that we have the Notre Dame Cathedral in the background, and a bit of a signpost. Pont Saint-Benazet is actually the Avignon Bridge. We'll have a look at it in the next slide, and the Palais de Papes, the Papal Palace, a little later. So here is the Pont d'Avignon, a UNESCO World Heritage Site built in the 13th century, destroyed by flood in the 17th century. This is the famous bridge that inspired the famous children's song. You might recognize it.
Sur le pont d'Avignon,
Everyone now.
On y danse sur le pont d'Avignon, on y danse tous en rond, les beaux messieurs comme ça.
If clients have time, they can purchase tickets and actually walk on the bridge, but agents, please remind them that they can only go so far. They never did actually rebuild the bridge. Another site, a must-see visit, is the imposing Papal Palace that dominates the old town. In the 14th century, Pope Clement decided to move the papacy to Avignon from Rome. Avignon became a massive construction site. They built 3 miles of walls, which you've already seen, residences, offices, and of course, this incredible Papal Palace. There are 25 rooms that are open to the public. And clients can visit to this amazing palace. They will experience the immensity of the rooms. And as I said, there are 25 that they can actually still visit today. And it has a great gift shop. So if they don't have time or not able to go inside, at the very least, need to visit the gift shop. Adjacent to the palace is an ancient street. It's actually carved right into the bedrock. And when you're walking through this narrow street, you actually have the impression that you are in a natural canyon, but this was actually carved into the bedrock. As always, clients will enjoy, and we encourage them to walk these towns in the evening, take in the night sights and the night lights. This is Place de l'Horloge, okay, one of the many beautiful squares in Avignon. Again, the night sights. So Avignon is a perfect base for the sights and experiences in this area. So Sandy's going to point out to you in the south, we have Arles, and we will come back to these towns in a bit. Nimes, Pont du Gard, and in the north, Orange. And all of these sites are easily within a 1-hour drive of Avignon. So as I mentioned, Avignon is a perfect base to experience this area. Sandy right now is going to tell you about one of them, the famous Chateauneuf du Pape.
Thank you, Peter. So just north of Avignon by about 30 kilometers, 20 miles, in this area here, we have a very well-known wine region, Chateauneuf du Pape. And I always say Avignon is very lucky to have her just north of it. So many wine excursions, so little time. So let's start. Chateauneuf du Pape is a blend. They can have a total of 13 different grape varieties. However, most Chateauneuf du Pape have 3 to 4. 3 is pretty much the standard. There are a number of big, well-known names that we can get your clients onto if they're going to do private tours, or we can have them do tours, small group with 8 passenger vehicles from Avignon. They're absolutely great days. The drivers are very well versed in Chateauneuf du Pape. So here we have, you can see the rocky soil. You can see that it's built on a cliff, Chateauneuf du Pape. Vines, this was actually taken in March of 2019. And this is a super photo showing the rocks. And I've got one in my hand because I stole one from a vineyard. So here it is. You can see, this is what the soil looks like. little baby boulders. It makes the vines work harder, and the harder a vine works, the better the wine that it's going to have. So that's why you can't have beautiful black gorgeous soil for a vine. You need to have rocky or granite slopes or something alluvial, something with lots of minerals in it. Some of the beautiful chateaux in the area look like Provençal houses. Some of them are in fact chateaus. And here we have the inside of Chateau Baux Castle, one of my favorites. You can see how immaculate these cask rooms are. This is one of the most well-known wines of the world, after all. These are the cellars of Chateau de la Nerte, and you can see on the walls the mold from being down in a damp cellar. You can see the wine in new cask, taking on those flavors of oak and a little bit of smokiness, because they smoke the barrels before the wine goes in them. This particular room is called the Cathedral. That's a cellar at Chateau Ramenin, which we're going to see right here. And as with most cellars, your clients can buy glassware when they leave. They can buy a bottle of wine. They can buy souvenirs from the winery they've tasted. In some cases, they can ship wine back. I know to the US that's possible. Some of the Canadian provinces it is not. But definitely always nice for a client to say, pour the wine of the chateau he's been to for dinner with his friends and talk about his fabulous trip. Boutique Escapes can do private wine tastings for your groups or for just individuals. And at the end, they can have a tasting of cheeses or chocolate and wine. Some of the wineries there do fantastic tastings. Just north of Chateauneuf-du-Pape, we have the medieval and the Roman city of Orange. There's one of the entrances, one of the arcs, a side view of the amphitheater. How immaculate that amphitheater is, considering it is from the times of the Roman emperors, because after all, most of France belonged to the Roman emperor way back in the year 12 BC, 50 BC. Here's another great shot, and you can see the mountains in the background. What a glorious region to visit. Just some classic clay tiled roofs of the town of Orange. A beautiful, beautiful spot to visit. And as Peter said, so many excursions can be done from the town of Avignon. Peter?
In ancient times, this was a thriving Roman society. So there are many Roman sites to visit. And again, using Avignon as a base. There's the typical Provençal town of Arles, that is south of Avignon. It's about a 30-minute train ride, about a 1-hour ride, car ride. Its most prominent site is its famous Roman arena, still used today for concerts and performances. Arles has another reason to visit. It is the former home of Vincent van Gogh. So for art lovers, they can take a self-guided walk through the streets of Arles, or Boutique Escapes can book them on a Van Gogh small group tour that will visit Arles and will visit other areas in the region. They will visit the sites that were the inspiration to his amazing works of art. The city of Nimes is about 30 minutes by train, 45 minutes by car, known for its Roman ruins. Its arena or amphitheater is one of 3 in southern France. And again, summer concerts and performances to this day are performed here. And there's a statue in homage to to the Roman predecessors to this city. This is the Maison Carrée. It's one of the best, it is the best preserved Roman temple in the world. Absolutely stunning. Fun fact about Nimes, before we go on, you've heard of the textile, the material, denim. Well, denim has its origin in Nimes. In fact, the word denim is a contraction of de and Nimes, meaning from Nimes. About 10 miles from Nimes is this incredible Roman aqueduct that brought water to Nimes. It is the most visited ancient monument. It is a must-see visit for your clients when in this area. Another fun fact about the Pont du Gard, not one drop of mortar was used to put this bridge together. What holds it together? Gravity. It's an incredible ancient feat of engineering. Another must-see in this area, the beautiful lavender fields, one of the great natural wonders of the region. One of the in addition to the wine, of course, one of the specialties of the region. The fields inspired artists over the years. If your clients are in this region in June, July, and early August, Boutique Escapes can book them on a small group tour to the beautiful lavender regions and towns. We can also, of course, this can also be done as a self-drive or as private tours. So small group tours from Avignon, as I said, can be small group or private tours. Chateauneuf de Papes, as Sandy mentioned, the lavender fields and villages, Roman sites and villages, a Van Gogh tour, Van Gogh in Provence, and simply tours, a day trip to the numerous neighboring hilltop villages of Provence. I'm now going to turn this over to Susan, who's going to continue our trip through this beautiful region.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So Peter had us in Avignon doing day trips. We are going to now make our way towards Aix-en-Provence, but we're going to start by going, still remaining south of Avignon, by going to Saint-Remy and Les Baux de Provence. Then we're going to head over, and right in the middle of your screen, you can see Ilse sur la Sorgue. Also in the area is Gordes and Roussillon. From there, we're going to head to Aix-en-Provence. So what we are hoping to hit right now and to show you are several little towns that have been designated by the French government as les plus beaux villages en France. This is a designation that we call the most beautiful villages of France. We're going to start with Saint-Remy, and then we're going to head on to a few villages that have this designation. Saint-Remy is a really pretty small town south of Avignon. It's another town that serves well as a home base. Here's one of the main squares where life is easy. People move at a slower pace and they enjoy what is going on around them. It's an authentic Provençal village. You can see from this image, this is the main street. There's not a whole lot going on. You would not fit cars, any vehicles on this street. If anything, maybe a golf cart at certain times to take deliveries to some of the shops, restaurants, and cafes. But it's an area where you can enjoy life slowly. Now, we also know that Saint-Remy is the home of the French astrologer and physician, Nostradamus. He was alive during the time of the Renaissance, early 1500s to 1566. This small area here tells us that this is where he was born, right in there at that window. This is a chocolatier that is one of the most famous, maybe in all of France, Joël Durand, and this is his chocolate shop in Saint-Remy. We've got a few photos of the chocolates inside. These happen to be alphabet chocolates, where each letter of the alphabet was represented. And very small shop. Here's the chocolate fountain that they have on display. And here's a short video. Of course, being there with children, chances are you're going to be getting some of the alphabet letters that are at the beginning of their name. This is typical of the area, a small, just many of the streets that radiate out of Saint-Remy are tree lined. These are plantain trees, plane trees as they're translated in English, but you do get this amazing feeling that you're in the south of France when you're driving these roads. So whether it's with a private driver, whether your clients have a car rental, or if they're on a day trip from Avignon, for example, chances are they're going to be driving down these super small roads that are tree lined, giving the impression that there's an arc on top of them. Also in the area, olive oil. How can you not want to explore and taste olive oil when you're in this most fabulous region? So all surrounding this area, whether you're going north towards Orange or south towards Saint-Remy, your clients will find, and we can arrange for your clients to visit an olive oil mill. They'll see that how the production is done. At the end, there are olive oil tastings. You can also taste the olives that are used. And if clients want, they can send packages home. Many of the olive oil mills will offer to ship for them, and it's a flat rate. Often it's whatever can fit into the box. Weight doesn't matter, it's a box and you can get as much in there, and it's a rate for what's in there and the box. So here's just a sample of some of the olive oils that you'll find there, different colors. As you go north towards Orange and the Rhone Valley, it's a beautiful area where you find truffle. In this particular area of France, black truffle is what they search for. This happened to be at a truffle market in March, where once dug up, people who owned them were selling them to restaurants and shops. So you can also see how expensive some of the dried products can be. This, for example, 80 euro for one of these packages. And the next slide also shows a meal that is absolutely based on truffle. This was the appetizer, so bread with a little bit of butter and then slices of truffle on top. Unbelievable, fabulous. If you're there, if your clients are there in the region during the area of truffle hunting, when they find the truffles, this would be fabulous, and they would find this all over. Now we're going to head to, as I'd said before, one of the designations that the French give to their cities is l'un des plus beaux villages de France. So this is one of the most beautiful villages in France. Les Baux de Provence is a picturesque medieval village with a fortified chateau area. What is interesting to note is that much of this is either carved out of the limestone, or the limestone was used to build these buildings. So you get this beautiful color of this white limestone when you're in the village. And I can say that when clients arrive, it is quite magnificent to leave the parking lot and walk over to this village. It is definitely an awe-inspiring moment as you see all of these little houses, many of them carved into the stone with quarries nearby. So here's just an example of a small street. This just happened to be taken in July, a lovely warm day. Again, you can see how we are almost overwhelmed by the height of what's around us. It's not an office tower. It's not a big apartment building. It is the feeling of being surrounded by rock that is absolutely fascinating once you're in the village. And you can let clients know that this village will not disappoint. All of these little nooks and crannies, small areas to rock, incredible rock formations. And of course, touristy again, you're going to have an area, whether you're with children or whether your clients are not with children, they're going to find some cute little souvenir that they can purchase of the area. Again, little street, just to give you an idea that it is tiny. You don't find vehicle traffic there. And in the back of the area, you can see the rock formations. You can see where the quarries were dug, and you can see what's left over of Roman ruins in the area. We also have an area that is known for its beautiful light show. In fact, a sound and light show. This is called Carrière de Lumière, which means lights in a quarry. This is where the idea of Carrière and Lumière started. We have an ancient quarry where these images of incredible artworks are projected onto the stone walls of the quarry along with music. This one that you're looking at here happens to be the Van Gogh light show. There are many artists. I have seen it with Gustav Klimt. It was also fabulous. Again, it's sound and light. The current show, if your clients are going either in 2021, if they're lucky enough, and if it happens, and in 2022, the light show is of Paul Cézanne. Paul Cézanne is the son of the area. He was born in Aix-en-Provence and worked there. We're going to talk a little bit more about Paul Cézanne once we get to the area of Aix-en-Provence. If we leave that side, the southern end of Avignon, and we travel north towards Aix-en-Provence, actually northeast, we can hit some more small towns. This one is in particular is called Ilse-sur-la-Sorgue. Ilse-sur-la-Sorgue is, again, one of the most beautiful villages of France, and it's located in the it's located on canals. So like the picture here shows you, clients can go have a beautiful restaurant meal at the side of the canal. It's known for its antique shops and objets d'art that are on the side of the canal, beautiful buildings, greenery around the canals, but it just gives you the idea that you are truly in a small Provençal town. Honestly, you blink as you drive by and you would miss it. This is in no means a city, it is a small Provençal town. From Ilse-sur-la-Sorgue, clients can continue on and visit the small town hilltop village in the Vaucluse called Gordes. Gordes, again, is one of the most beautiful villages of France, where the houses are literally made of white limestone and again carved into the rock. Much history here. So when clients go through it, there are small cathedrals, there are small squares to visit, but this just gives you an idea of how small this town is. No huge fortified walls that we would see in Assisi, but certainly there are smaller walls and fortifications in order for people to live here. Again, a beautiful area for your clients to visit and for you to suggest if they're going to be either doing a drive with a rental car or if they're going to be going by private driver. Again, also available with day trips from certain towns, bigger towns in the south of France. So from Gordes, we're going to hit a magical town. Roussillon is, again, one of the most villages in France. It is located in the heart of the world's largest ochre deposit. Famous for its magnificent red cliffs and ochre quarries, this town is built with pink stone. It's officially listed as one of the most beautiful villages in France. Your clients will remember these warmly toned buildings. Take a look, pinks, very warm oranges, peaches. This is the entire town. Now, with a little bit of time, clients can take a short hike. It is super easy and super short on something called the Ochre Trail. Very well known in the area. Your clients actually walk through a former quarry where they are surrounded by these pink rocks. So very different from not only what your clients will see in the rest of France, but different from what they'll see in the rest of Europe. From Gordes, we're going to head on, from Roussillon, in the northern part here of the south of France, we're going to head over to Aix-en-Provence, which is south of where we were. And this is not a long drive. It's approximately an hour, 15 minutes from Gordes to Aix-en-Provence. Here we are in the beautiful town of Aix-en-Provence, really a town known for a lot of young people because of the universities and colleges in the area. It truly is a gateway between Avignon and Nimes. So a lot of young people, a lot of exciting squares, a lot of atmosphere. We're looking at Cours Mirabeau, the most prominent square of the town, surrounded by restaurants and shops. And at the end of this street in the background, you can see the main area, which is Cours Mirabeau, right here. And again, beautiful market area where you'll have food markets and flower markets in Aix-en-Provence every day of the week. You can let your clients know that if they're only going for a night or two, they won't miss the market. It's there every day. If they want particular markets, flea markets, antique, objet d'art, or clothing markets, that only happens on Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Saturdays. Of course, all of this your clients would find in the guidebooks that we provide them with, and so they could time themselves as to what markets they might want to hit. But here's an example of one of the food markets. Certain of these vendors will allow your clients to taste the food. So if they see salamis or cheeses, other meats, they may want to have a picnic in their room. Here's a salami vendor. They can ask to have a little sample of it and then purchase a chunk to enjoy with some bread and have a little picnic in their room or a little picnic on a street corner. Why not? Now, we know that one of the main reasons people go to Aix-en-Provence is for the art and art museums. This in particular is the atelier, the workshop of Paul Cézanne, the son of Aix-en-Provence. This is his workshop, and he is very well known for still life. Here we've got oranges with wine beside it. There is an area of garden around the workshop where he used a lot of the vegetation in his artwork. There are also views from there where you can see the mountains in the area, which we're going to see in a moment, that he has in some of his paintings. So your clients can actually go into this atelier, have a look at it. Some of the rooms are as he left it. Paul Cézanne is a post-impressionist painter. You will find, clients will find his work all over galleries in the world. Vienna, London, Paris, New York, Chicago, just a few cities where if one goes to an art gallery, they will see work by Paul Cézanne. Here are some of his works that we're taking a look at now. And here is the area that he would have looked at. So when he took inspiration from what was around him, not only the vegetation, the beautiful flowers, the lavender that was in the area, but the way the light would hit all of this vegetation, all of the flowers, and in particular, Mont Victoire that's in the background. Mont Victoire is the small mountain that your clients will see, that people see when they're in Aix-en-Provence. It is almost protecting the town of Aix-en-Provence. So from Aix-en-Provence, I believe we are going to make our way to La Côte d'Azur and Nice. Sandy, you are on.
Well, welcome to the French Riviera and my happy place, Nice, France. This is the iconic I Love Nice sign. It's probably about 5 years old, and many cities around the world have kind of taken into this. Toronto has one. I'm sure where you live or close to where you live may have a sign like this, but this would be my all-time favorite. I had to take this photo at night because during the day, it's clamored with tourists all having their photos taken at the I Love Nice sign. The I Love Nice sign starts the Promenade des Anglais when you come around the corner from the bend onto the Bay of Angels. And here is the spectacular beach in Nice. Why I love it? Many things. First, I want you to look in the right-hand corner and you'll see palm trees. Those palm trees going along the top right through to the left, past the Negresco, which is here. This is one of the most famous walks in the world. You'll find hotels, casinos, shops, squares, entrance to the beaches of the Côte d'Azur in Nice. The great thing about Nice is the water. Right when you get out, it's over your head. You can see by this person swimming, that is over their head. The thing about this photo, though, is a little deceptive because there is a cliff, a tiny cliff. So little water shoes are needed. Clients can buy them for around 10 or 12 euros at the shops just over here on the Promenade des Anglais. As well, they can also buy a mat for the beach because if you look, those are stones. So not the most comfortable thing to lie on, but definitely having the beach be well over one's head once you get out. It's like being in the deep end of a pool all the time. June, July, August, September, these are high season. This is high season in Nice because it's when the water is at its finest. There are exhibitions that take place there, conferences. It can be a busy time, but the best time, definitely in Nice. Clients can rent beach chairs. Right here, you'll see they're around 50 euros a day, unless you're over by the Negresco corner where they can be upwards of $75 to $100 a day. Different entrances to the beach. Here's the Opera Beach Plage, meaning beach. Behind in this scene, you'll see some hotels, and many of you out there have either stayed there or had clients at these hotels. Right beside here, which you can't see because there's a tree in the way, is an elevator that takes clients up to Castle Rock, which is the most amazing view over the bay, where that photo that's behind me would have been taken from, just to give your clients some perspective on the size of the bay. They can, on a clear day, see over to Antibes. It's beautiful. If your clients are adventurous, they can walk up. The elevator, though, is free and easy to reach from the beach area. These are the blue chairs of Nice, and many photos of Nice for tourism will show these chairs. Clients can either sit on one side and watch the festivities of buskers or skateboarders or people walking on the Promenade des Anglais, or if they're lucky enough to get a seat, they can face the water and just stare into the mesmerizing Mediterranean. Another one of our beaches, but look at the sky as the sun was setting. You can see that beautiful ochre pinks and oranges coming in the sky, and so close to get to if you're in the old town, or even if you're staying on one of the large hotels, your clients on one of the large hotels on Promenade des Anglais. But here's a restaurant on the beach, and there are many. Clients should make reservations for lunch because in high season, there will be a lineup. Easy to do. They can just make a reservation when they get to Nice, or Boutique Escapes can make it for them if they know they're going to have a free afternoon. There's the sea. This was taken in November, so it wasn't that busy, but should this be July or August, doesn't matter really, until sundown, that beach would be packed. Close up of the restaurant, you can see they've got some heaters out too. Now, one thing I do want you to remind your clients that just like in Rome or in London or in Paris, because of the 2016 terrorist attack on Nice, Nice does have the army wandering the promenade and the main squares. They shouldn't be alarmed. Rather, they should feel safe knowing that they are on the watch in case anything inclement would happen in Nice, just like in Rome or Paris or London. And there is the famous Negresco. Clients cannot just wander in. If you want to go into the Negresco and you're not staying there, you should have a restaurant reservation. So perhaps if your clients say they want to go to the Negresco, make a reservation at one of their restaurants. Fair warning, this is not inexpensive. I would call this $4 signs. So yes, an iconic building to go into, but reminder, it is one of the most expensive properties in all of Europe. In fact, this hotel will be used in ads for selling just Europe because it is one of those iconic buildings, just like the Gritty Palace in Venice or the George Cinq the Gritty Palace in Venice and the George Cinq in Paris. This is the main square. It's the corner of Place Messina and the start of the old town in Nice. So a good indication of where your clients are, if they get to this one sign again, Old Town, if they were to look to the right of this statue, they would see the sea. And behind by that beautiful colored building would be the Old Town. The other side, the main square of Place Messina and the Galerie Lafayette and the start of the shopping area. We're going, though, to make our way to my favorite corner of Nice, and that is the Old Town. And this signpost says it all: the historic center, the opera, the Hotel de Ville, which is their town hall, and of course the Corsalea, their flower market, and just the beautiful building that goes into a little stairway that takes them down into the historic center. Here's the clock tower of the main town hall, and you can see the color of it. Everything is so picturesque in this area of the Riviera, and pristine. And just down below it is a main restaurant and little side streets. And there it is, the majestic Corsalea. You can see it looks like a dream. The colors of the buildings, it screams Provence. In the background, the forest is Castle Hill, and down right at the very front, you will see the market. That is the flower market. On certain days, there will be antique markets. It's such a fun area to walk. It really does just show the vibrancy of the Provençal flair of the area because of the market. I want to mention that in this photo, to the right, there are a number of archways that lead you to this photo behind me, the Mediterranean. Literally, they will leave this market, go through the arch, and in maybe 90 seconds, they'll be standing in front of the Mediterranean. So definitely one of the best places Boutique Escapes wants your clients to stay. This was the antique market. You can see the silverware clients can take back. Paintings, again, silverware. There's clocks in the market when it's antique shopping day. I loved this painting. Can't believe I left without it, but I did. So many things to find for your home, so many things to just wander and look at. And of course, the actual market. Mustard, Dijon, a classic from France. Jams for people to bring back. Sausages, as Susan mentioned, have a picnic in your room. We always tell clients on our boot tips, bring your sharp knife from home, a small cutting board, maybe some paper plates packed in their luggage, not their checked-in carry-on, so that they can have a beautiful picnic in their room. Some clients may have a apartment that they're renting. Remember, also Niçoise, the people of Nice are shopping at this market, so they're going to be making their fare for the day. And look at those Provençal tomatoes. Makes me want tomatoes right now. Beautiful zucchini leaves and the herb de Provence. Your client should never leave without a bag of herb de Provence. That's one of the #1 items people carry away from this area because it's light, makes a great gift. And let's face it, it gives every bit of food that little bit of Provence when they bake at home. Olive oil, cheeses. This market is absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to venture onto the small streets of Nice. Look at how wide that street is. Yes, we know it's a tourist area, but just like the Latin Quarter or the area around Piazza Navona in Rome, this is where tourists are. That's why it's a tourist area. But look how charming, how narrow, how cobblestone these streets are. Everything for sale. Salt, different kinds of salts. This is our favorite little corner in the Old Town. This is the pizza place that Susan and I know as when we walk in the door, they go, "We know you girls want truffle." Yes, we do. A crepe place just around the corner is Finocchio. 100 different flavors of gelato at one time. Always do we send our clients there with children. This is just a fun area to walk. And the #1 attraction for the town of Nice, walking the Old Town. Even if your clients aren't staying in the Old Town, just to wander over, they'll find their way over more than once on their stay in Nice. And to me, minimum 3 days in Nice, because it's a base. There's many things to do, many little corners to visit. Here's an example of when climbing the streets, if your adventurous clients want to climb to the top of Castle Hill and not take the elevator for that beautiful view over the bay, they will go many steps up. And then they'll get to a small plateau where there's a parking lot. It's the last place you can go by car. And then they'll continue walking up and finally get to the top of the hill to look over the beautiful bay. Dining al fresco all over. And some of them, I want to add, the best restaurants in Nice are in the Old Town. They are there because they know people are wandering. Good restaurants will be in plethora amounts where there are people wandering, as well as, of course, the touristic spots. But Boutique Escapes gives our clients a list of the restaurants we feel are the best in the Old Town. And we will make reservations for them. As many of you know, we'll have it on their itinerary and we'll do reminders. Nice isn't just the Old Town. There are many things to see, including 2 main museums. One is the Marc Chagall, and you might remember that name from our Paris webinar, which is, he did the ceiling in the beautiful Opera Garnier in Paris. Here's the outside of his beautiful museum there. Most of it is filled with the Old Testament paintings that he's done. It is the largest private collection of Marc Chagall paintings. Then we have the Henri Matisse museum in a villa, another fantastic stop. There's a Nice card clients can buy when they're in Nice that will give them free entry to both if they are staying there. If they're just 2 days there, not really worth getting the card, but certainly for clients staying 3 days or longer, the Nice card will get them a tram rides, that will get them the museums. It will get them many of things in Nice for a special price. Now, I want to say that, and I'm just going to check my time here, there are many excursions, which is why Nice is a great place to have as a base for your clients. And that's where I have clients stay in the south. St. Paul de Vence is one, Cannes is one. So let's start our trip to Cannes. And everybody knows lights, camera, action. This is home of the Cannes Film Festival in May, a busy, busy time. So I have had clients actually go specifically to wander the film festival because you can have your clients go to movies there. They just have to buy their tickets online. and stand with all the paparazzi to take photos of people. Usually it's only the 3 stars or the 2 stars that are left, because definitely the high-end hotels in the area, all the way through to Cannes, Nice, Juan-le-Pin, all of the hotels, even in Monaco, you'll find are fully booked with people going to the Cannes Film Festival. Really, they should stay there another time and not go during the festival, although I know some clients do want to be there, especially because it's also Grand Prix time. This is the getting into the old town in Cannes, because Cannes also has an old town. It's a beautiful little walk. Again, shops, restaurants, narrow streets, all pedestrian. And there are the beautiful little restaurants and shops right on the bay in Cannes. Behind there is a fortress that is Le Souquet, which clients can walk up. It's a beautiful walk, and then they get to the top with amazing views. If clients go to Cannes, there are half-day excursions. We also have just tickets, train tickets, round trip, for clients that just want to go on their own for the day, a self-guided tour with our guidebook that they can take with them. And then they can just wander. This is the shishilala of the expensive, rich lifestyles of the rich and famous towns, where they would find Chanel and Dior, and the beautiful Carlton Hotel. You will know that from the movie French Kiss, which I, again, can't say that enough. It makes us fall in love with the south of France. And now we're going to go on to St. Paul de Vence, which is a walled town outside Cannes and Nice, about a 60-kilometer journey. Some of the tours will go there with Cannes. They usually have, there's not just tours to St. Paul de Vence, you have that in conjunction with another tour, but a great tourist town to visit. When we talk about tiny, small, cobblestone streets, you can think of this fabulous town of St. Paul de Vence. You can see it right from here. And notice Atelier. This is a town where you buy, where your clients buy artwork. And you can see just in this photo how many galleries. I think there's 4 just in this photo, maybe 5. So a beautiful town to wander, very busy between June and September, but again, busy because it is something to see, this beautiful medieval town. But wishing well, throw your coin in and perhaps a return trip to the Riviera. Now we're going to take a trip from Nice and going to the exclusive Principality of Monaco. And there we have it. And you can see one of the ships that probably many of you have sent your clients on that dock in this fabulous exclusive little principality. On the top of the cliff, you can see that is the palace, the Palace of Monaco, that is a working palace, with Prince Albert being the current reigning monarch there. We know from, most of us know, Grace and Remy, they are actually buried in a cathedral on the rock, that if you do private tours with Boutique Escapes, we make sure that the drivers will take them to the cathedral. It's not far from the palace, but it is quite an homage to pay and to wander the cathedral. Doesn't matter what time of year, there are always flowers on the tombs of both the prince and the princess. And there is the palace. Clients do this with an audio guide. It's approximately €9. It takes you through the state rooms, including they will go past the fabulous portrait of Grace, Remy, and their children that was done probably a good 40 years ago now. Nonetheless, it is an amazing visit. And I always think where there is a palace and you can go through it, your clients, make sure you get them through it, that you encourage them to. Truly a piece of history, even if it's Buckingham Palace or this palace or a previous palace, chateau of a king, just something very unique to go through. And there it is, Monte Carlo, with the private yachts, with the incredible casinos where you have to pay 18 to 23 euros and you must have your passport. Make sure your clients know that. In fact, whenever your clients leave their room, they should always have their passport on them. Photo ID of where they're from. Their driver's license won't do anything to a gendarme in France, to a cabineri in Rome. They must have their passport on them. They shouldn't leave it in their room. They should always have it on them. So with that said, if they have it on them, they can go into the magnificent casino of Monte Carlo. Not if they're from Las Vegas, I'm guessing, but many people will go in there just to say they've been in the casino in Monte Carlo. After we leave Monte Carlo, we're going to go to Aise, our final stop. Aise is a hilltop town that overlooks the Mediterranean. I have recommended for my clients that go, your clients that go, they should have a glass of champagne at Le Chef d'Or, one of the most beautiful 5-star hotels in Aise. There are 2. And having a glass of wine there on their patio, they can look over the Mediterranean as it twinkles in the sunlight. It's a beautiful town. Again, colorful towns. You just think you're in a dream when you're going through the French Riviera. Absolutely beautiful. I know we've got agents and clients that have actually just gone for the day by bus from Nice. So clients don't, if they just want to visit Aise, have to go on a tour. They can get there on their own just by getting a bus ticket. There is no train, although there is a train to Monaco. They can't get to Aise by train. They would have to take the city bus. And there you see the Mediterranean, and you get the perspective of being on top of the cliff, looking down onto the Mediterranean. A wonderful visit. And from Nice, there are other excursions clients can do. They can go into Italy. They can go to the Gorges du Verdun. There are winery tours they can take where they stop at wineries that have beautiful views and they have tastings there. So there are many excursions that clients can do from Nice. I want to also mention that we just touched on a few corners of France, but Picturesque sells all of France, and we are well versed in the country of France. We can do Bordeaux, we can do the beautiful area of Burgundy, the French Alps, and our favorite alpine town of Annecy that I think on the Boutique Escapes page probably comes up more than any other town. So when you're thinking France, think Boutique Escapes. We would love to have your clients take one of our packages and take them through the country that we love so much. Susan?
Thank you. We're just going to mention that the photo credits today are from dreamstime.com and Boutique Escapes. I had one question that I saw in the chat, and that was, is there a dress code at the Monte Carlo casino? There is, and prior to going, if your clients have the intention of visiting the casino, they should look it up. They will not allow people who are wearing shorts. So have your clients double check that before they go in. We thank you for joining us today, and we do want to recommend, as Sandy said, the 1994 movie French Kiss with Meg Ryan and Kevin Kline. We always enjoy watching that, really get a feel for being in the south of France and France in general. The other movie that's one of my favorites is Mr. Bean's Holiday in the south of France. If you're a Mr. Bean fan, you can't miss it. And again, everything from Paris all the way down to, I won't tell you where, on the South Coast. Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. So have a great weekend, everyone. And I know a lot of you are getting busy with requests for either later this year or 2022. You know that we are here from you. You know how to reach us. And I did see a goodbye on the chat line. Goodbye to everyone, and have a great weekend.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
À la prochaine.